Then please join us for our annual meeting next Sunday, May 21st, directly following the service. All members are asked to attend. All are invited. And today at 11:30, there's a birthday cake celebration for Jane and Dave Fulser. Then at noon, there is the men's group, and all are invited.
Thank you so much, Megan. Good morning, everyone. For those of you who are visiting today, I generally don't get applause just for showing up, but thank you for that. I have been dealing with some aftermath of COVID, and I'm so happy to be with you. I am the Reverend Dr. Beth Johnson. My pronouns are she and they. And one of the things that I noticed this morning as I was sitting here, because often I'm not just sitting here before the service. I may be running around in the other building and then coming up and being busy. And so I was able to just sit and breathe and then listen. Listen to the chatter, to the excitement, to the greeting, to the sound of community. Y'all could be anywhere else this morning on this gorgeous day. But we choose to be in religious community. And in so doing, we know that we remember that we're never alone, that there are folks with whom we can share. There's a place we can come to deepen spiritually, to learn, and to grow. And so on this day, on this Mother's Day, which may be complicated for some, we'll talk about that a little bit. Welcome. Welcome. It is good to be together. I invite us into worship this morning with words by the Reverend Becky Brooks. She starts, Mother's Day is complicated. Joyful for many, yes, but complicated. It's right there on your calendar, even if your mother has died. Even if you've been told yet again that you're still not pregnant or you've never been more scared than you are right now because you are pregnant, it is Mother's Day. Even if your own mother's priorities included everything but you, there's going to be a Mother's Day Google Doodle with flowers and pink stuff. Even if you have scars, ones you can see or can't, it's Mother's Day. The cake mix commercial is going to roll out 4 times an hour, even when you can't stop shaking and crying because you can't believe you slapped your little boy this morning. It's Mother's Day. And we all have to live with that, with those silent, breathless moments. So it's Mother's Day, even when we have had mothers who were nurturing and are with us still, whose memory lights up our lives and our face. It's Mother's Day. So let's go to church. Let's be a church where we can acknowledge that it might be difficult for some on this day, right alongside how joyful this day can be. Let's be the church where we don't pretend there aren't inky depths of space between us, even when we sing. Let's be the church that fills the space between our differences with love. Because even in the most broken spaces, there's room for love. We can be that church. We are that church. And so we gather in the beauty and the complexity of this day, in the joy, in the ambivalence, in the love, in the warmth, knowing that we are all mothered and mother in a variety of ways. And so, this morning, let us rise in body or spirit, and let us give thanks. Please join us.
Our chalice lighting words this morning are adapted from Reverend Dr. Julia Corbett Hemeyer. We light this flame, the bright warmth of belonging, of companionship, of interdependence. We light this flame to remind us we belong to the earth, our sacred home. We light this flame to remind us we belong to human families, biological or chosen, and to the entire human family. We light this flame to celebrate the community here gathered to which we belong, which claims our loyalty and affection. We light this flame to call to mind the transcendent, the holy, known by many names and by none, to which we also belong, which holds and sustains us. We light this flame in affirmation of the responsibility we share to make our communities ones where we belong.
So we're still gonna do the video because it's pretty cute, but I just wanted to tell you a quick story about being a mother. And what I was gonna say to the kids today, because it goes with the video, is that you don't have to be a biological mother to be a mother. When I lived in Brookfield, and it was way before I had Emma, there was this awesome tree next to our house, like just low enough, strong enough branches that just called to you to climb them. So one day I was just relaxing and I heard commotion and screaming and crying. So of course, I go running to the door and there's this little boy and he's like hanging precariously from this branch. And his friend's yelling, "I'm stuck, he's stuck, he's stuck, he's stuck." So I ran out, and the only place to grab this little boy, take a guess, was right on his bum. So I did, of course, and I got him down, and then I thought, I better go home with this little boy and make sure his mom knows that I touched his bum, because that could be like career ending for me. So I went home with him and I was like, I'm not gonna get you in trouble. I just wanna tell your mom in case you got a scratch or something, you know. So he took me home, he told me I could have a popsicle. And when I told his mom what happened, she hugged me, perfect stranger, hugged me, and she said, "Thanks for being his mom for a minute." And I just thought that was so cute, and I've always carried that with me, that anytime you care for somebody else, it's like you're being their mom for a minute. So, to all of you that have ever cared for someone, thanks for being a mom for a minute. And that is the introduction to our video, which I hope I can make work. Thanks, Megan.
Ronan and Emma Lally own a small farm that they run alongside their day jobs. They have a lovely collection of animals, but wanted some ducks to complete the picture. So they got in some fertilized eggs. On the day they hatched, Ronan went to check on them, but couldn't find the ducklings in the barn.
Within seconds of that, a cat jumped down from a pigeonhole within the shed over there, and I kind of put one and one together, and I just presumed that the cat had swallowed up the ducklings.
At this stage, they were missing for about 6 hours, so Ronan thought there was no hope at all.
After searching round the farm, they eventually found the ducklings. But unfortunately, the cat, Della, had got there first.
I ended up catching the cat with a duck in her mouth at this stage, and it really looked, Ronan was like, she's going to kill the duck.
I was thinking, oh no, we're only after getting them back, and now she's going to eat them right in front of us.
Then, Emma noticed something unusual.
I was like, Ronan, she's not actually forcefully holding this duck.
That's when the amazing thing happened. We put the cat down, put the ducklings down, and then all of a sudden the 3 little ducklings waddled straight underneath the cat. The cat lay down on her side, put her paw over one of the ducklings, and was kind of nursing the duckling in towards us. So we were, I mean, just absolutely blown away with this. Because normally cats would eat little small birds, but it was awesome. It was just incredible to see it.
She was very content at this stage. She was purring and she was really loving towards the ducklings. When I was petting her down, I noticed that she actually had given birth to 3 kittens only within an hour or so beforehand.
It was a very lucky coincidence for the ducklings that the cat found them just after giving birth herself. For a narrow window of a couple of hours, mothering hormones will have been coursing through her body, causing her to love and nurture any small, warm, furry creature she found next to her.
I have no doubt whatsoever that the cat was thinking dinner if she had seen them either maybe a couple of hours before or a couple of hours after. I've no doubt that she would have put the napkin around her neck, knife and fork, salt and pepper, the whole lot.
But it was when they came to move the unusual family into a safer spot that they got an even greater surprise.
As soon as we lifted up the cat, that's when we were totally amazed, because the ducklings were actually latched on to the cat's nipple, so...
They were hanging from her. Yeah, it was very, very bizarre.
When we seen them breastfeeding, we just thought, oh my God,
Yeah.
there's something very, very strange happening here, and something very strange, and also something very unique, you know?
Duck mums don't produce milk, and ducklings are born ready to find their own food and water from their surroundings. So to see them suckling a cat is extraordinary. Experts can only guess that their natural foraging instinct caused them to come upon the milk as an unexpected food source. And their desire for warmth and comfort kept them close to their foster mother. Ronan was keen to separate the ducks, fearful the cat's predatory instincts might kick back in. But Emma, being a midwife, recognized something that she regularly sees at work.
There was just so much love there, you know, and like I see it every day in the labour ward. They just want to hold them babies so tight and close. It's a moment that just lasts forever, and I could see that happening with the cat and the ducks. It just took me a while to convince Ronan. Because it's Ronan, they're just so in love. They love each other. Like, you can't break this bond. It's amazing.
Before long, the ducklings started to outgrow the kittens and gain their independence. Something the cat wasn't so happy with.
These ducks, her yellow kittens, were a lot more active, and she found it hard to control them. She was trying to bring them back underneath her and say, now be good like your brothers and sisters.
Several weeks later, the kittens are still small, and the ducks, although independent, still have an attachment to their surrogate mum. So it would seem that this rare coincidence of a cat giving birth just as the ducklings were making their first steps into the world resulted in this remarkable situation. Filled with an instinct to mother small furry creatures, the cat ignored any natural urge to eat the ducklings and took them on as her own. Now, it could be argued that all of this only happened because it was a domestic situation with animals that were unusually close to each other. But there are other examples that suggest the mothering instinct is so strong, this can even happen in the wild. A few years ago, the most surprising example of misplaced mothering took place in Kenya. The story of this lioness and oryx has an unhappy ending, but not for the reason you might think. A newborn oryx, surely just minutes from being this lion's next meal. But to the complete amazement of the rangers who were monitoring the situation, the lioness didn't try to eat it. Instead, she cared for it as if it were her own young. Just like the cat with her ducklings, a strong instinct to protect and nurture was overriding the predatory instinct to kill it. Many theories were put forward as to why she was behaving in this way, and the consensus was that she was a young lioness who'd gone through some kind of traumatic experience involving being separated from her pride, and as a result, her mental state had led her to want to nurture this calf in some way. But unfortunately, the relationship came to a sudden end. When the lioness took her eye off the calf for just a few moments, a male lion pounced and killed it. Witnesses described her behavior as exactly that of a lioness who had lost her cubs. Heartbreaking to watch. Everyone thought that was the end of the story.
But the lioness went on to adopt not 1, but 5 more oryx calves. Now, none of the relationships lasted as long as the first one, but this continuing fixation points to a traumatized animal desperate to nurture, even if the young in question isn't her own species.
We're not singing any short. You don't have to sing me. You don't want to sing us? Yeah. This job, Pam. Kind of understand the mothering part. I was Megan's house for wayward teenagers for a while. I had a couple teenage kids my brother's age lived with me when Brianna was little, and so just help me out. You know, I'll be not be your mom, but close enough. But as we consider the importance of this church this morning, we invite the spirit of generosity and support of our church home. The second Sunday of each month, we offer our plate to share to a local nonprofit. This month, it goes to Spey, Illinois. Let's see a video to learn about them.
And I live in West Chicago, and this is my dog, Nala. I call it Spey of Illinois because Nali, I call her Nali, had a big tumor on the back of her front leg. She was on some doggy medicines for a while. They made her tired, but after all the medicines were gone, she's hopping around and being her old self. I felt that she made a big impact immediately on my life. Keeping her and realizing that she is here for me to take care of makes me take better care of myself. If Spey, Illinois wasn't there, my dog would have probably been euthanized, and with the big cyst on her leg, I don't know how long she would have lasted, even if I would have just kept her alive. The people at Spey of Illinois, every person there, was unbelievably nice. Everybody down there was very nice, and it made me feel real at ease and comfortable with bringing her there. I am very happy that I did find you guys, and again, you are very loving people to work on my dog and help her.
I think what makes Illinois unique is that we have such a sense of community here, and we make sure that everyone coming into our clinics are comfortable and feel like, you know, we are giving them the utmost attention, and their pet as well. That's the whole reason they're bringing them to us.
In our area, we don't have any low-cost services for spay-neuter. Population control is huge when you're talking about capacity at a municipal shelter.
What makes Spey, Illinois unique is the way that they care for the animals. They're very kind. They explain everything to the owners of the animals about every administration, every shot that they give.
I think that the biggest way they've been able to support us is being able to help us provide that basic medical care and making sure we're doing it correctly.
People love their pets just like we do, you know, and you'll hear me say that a lot. No matter your financial situation, just because you can't afford treatment for your pet or something comes up, it doesn't mean you love them any less. And we have never had to turn someone away because of their ability to pay. And we want to be able to continue to do that, but we need our donors' help. We need everyone. Just even a small donation, it makes a huge difference. It makes a world of difference to someone whose pet is suffering and they can't afford care. Our donors have helped us subsidize so many things, so many things. They have changed so many lives. Lives of the pets, the families, the rescues, the animal controls. Every pet that comes through our door is somehow touched by something someone has done.
I would say, please give to this fund because all of us don't have enough money to help our pets. So, you guys, I can't thank you enough.
Do we have Chalice lighting words? I don't know. Or words to say for our offering. This church is made up of all of us. It is what we learn together, the work we do together, the fun we have together. It is what we share with one another, with people around us, and with the world. We now gratefully receive your contribution and thank you in advance for your generosity.
Well, mothers and others, we've had some examples of other than human mothering. Might be time to take a breath and just settle in, gather ourselves. Invite you to just be present in this moment and invite Julia up, our choir director, to lead us in the meditation on breathing. Yeah, they should be. You know, let me say this. There we go.
Kept talking about it. It actually is three parts. We're going to ask the congregation when I point to you, start to sing the melody. Jamie, would you play the melody by itself? You're all going to be a choir.
Let's just stay seated. Breathe. Beautifully done. This is, I think, the first time the congregation has done this, so beautiful. I love the meditation on breathing, not just because I haven't been able to breathe lately, and am struck by how, as a somatic worker and breath worker, how important the breath is to bring us right into this space, into this moment. Even when we struggle for breath, beloveds, there is that which is breathing us, breathing with us in the in-breath and in the out-breath, with us from our first breath, accepting us into our last breath. So I invite you to pause in this moment. We've seen images of lots of animals. It's been an animal-y kind of thing, and it's not done yet, I realized. We've explored the ins and outs somewhat of what it means to mother and nurture. So pause in this moment. Breathe in, breathe out. Present to where we are. Present to who we are. Present to how we are in this moment. The only moment we have. This one precious moment. The breath brings us into our bodies, reminds us that we are bodies breathing, that we are spirits breathing, opens our hearts. The breath can connect us with our deepest longings, loves, losses. The breath connects us to that which is most alive in us. Beloveds, I invite you to allow the aliveness in you to move through you right now with the breath. Embodying your joys, your sorrows, celebrations, challenges. Allow everything as you can. All of it. Breathe it. Welcome it. Breathe in and breathe out what no longer serves you. Breathe in the warmth of community, the aliveness, the love. And know this, you are always and everywhere held in love and mystery deeper than you can know. In a moment, we'll enter into a time of what we call joys and sorrows. We light candles of celebration, candles of challenge, because we know that we enter into this space bringing all of that with us. Joys, concerns, challenges, blessings. If you have something weighing on your heart or dancing on your heart this morning, you're invited to come up and light a candle. You can do that in silence, and we will hold that space with you. You can say a few words, a name or a word, or a short phrase to share your intention. Because what we know in is sharing our joys and our sorrows are held in community, and our joys ripple out. And we know we contain multitudes within us. So Megan and I will walk down, and in a moment we invite you to come up and light a candle. And again, you can share, or you can just simply light your candle in silence.
My name is Pat, and I lit a candle in appreciation for all of you who helped Joe get through his throat surgery. And I'd like to say that he's doing very well. He's not here today because he can't talk yet, but he will next week, so he'll thank you in person.
Thank you. Glad to hear it.
Hi, I'm Paula. I'm up here a lot. Friday was Tim's birthday.
I'm Jonathan, and two Saturdays ago, I attended my 50th high school reunion, and of course, you never know what to expect when you haven't seen people for a while. I wound up seeing two people that I knew pretty well from high school, and we shared memories of, especially of a certain advanced placement history course and our very strict teacher that we had. But what really surprised me was that I saw 6 students of mine from elementary school. 3 of them I hadn't seen in 57 years. And it was just amazing at how we came back together and bonded and shared memories, and how, you know, how they had, I hate to say it, grown up so much. You know, you remember how kids were on the playground, you know, and now they're mature adults with children of their own. It was truly an amazing experience. Thank you.
My name is Jane, and I light a candle of joy for our wonderful family who are here with us. If you raise your hand, from all over the country. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Tiff. Jean just lit a candle of celebration. Many of you know I did animal therapy work with my dogs for many years, and I was not able to do that since the pandemic hit, and then my boys passed away. But Bowie and I passed the therapy dog test this past week, so we're going to start visiting.
Hi, I'm Mary. I lit a candle for our friend Jean, who, if you've seen in news and notes, you know, he suffered a fall and was in Elmhurst Hospital. I'm happy to say he's moved to rehab at Park Place of Elmhurst. So if you want to visit him or reach out to him, then go to Park Place, not to the hospital.
Pam told of her attunement to the neighborhood tree with the low branches, which brought immediately to mind her mother several years ago when we considered limbing up the tree west of the church of the RE building significantly. She recognized the enchanting embrace of the branches reaching to the ground, and there they have stayed and embraced and enchanted.
My name's Suzanne. A couple of things. I lit 2 candles, but I probably could have written three. The first one is to celebrate all the nurses out there for Nurses Week. That was last week. We all are still fighting. This COVID kind of has gone away, but we still see patients. The second one is my mom just was diagnosed with breast cancer, but they caught it early, so prognosis is really good. And the third is for all the mothers. I did make a strawberry thyme cake for all the mothers for church today. Got it in.
I just wanted to let folks know, I think a number of people do know, Athena's dad passed away early last week, and we had a celebration of his life, funeral last Saturday. Some of you have reached out probably heard through Facebook about it, and we've really appreciated that. He was a great guy, taught at Loyola for 30 years in medical school, and then volunteered for another 22 years, so he had a wonderful career in life and was a real inspiration. So, thanks.
Hi, my name is Emily, and you guys might think I'm a new face, but I used to come here every Sunday for youth group in high school, and then college, and now I work on Sundays. But I am going to be a mother of my own very soon, and I thought what better day to come back than Mother's Day. And I hope to be here a few Sundays going forward, but we'll see.
Welcome. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Lenny Edgen. I lit a candle for gratitude for my parents coming to visit for the first time in our church, and this is the first Mother's Day I got to spend with my mom in decades, and I'm extremely grateful for that, so thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Darren, and we're welcoming
two visitors today that allowed me to welcome them publicly. They are John and Terry. If you want to raise your hands and say good morning. They are moved back here from Gainesville, Florida, where they had been friends of the Gainesville Unitarian Universalist Church. So welcome. And I lit 177 candles for all 177 YouTube subscribers.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kathy Folster, and I just want to say, when you're a Folster kid, when you're the daughter or the son of Jane and Dave Folster, every day is Mother's Day and Father's Day. So, love you both. Happy birthday.
It's our tradition to light 3 candles. Additionally, once for those joys and sorrows that are held silently in our hearts. One for those who across our country and our world are in need of mothering. And one for the earth, who mothers us, and to whom we are emboldened and empowered to love. One of the things about Mother's Day that I'd like to acknowledge, that the Julia Ward Howe Mother's Day proclamation that was written in 1870 as an appeal to women to unite for peace in the world. It was her abolitionist, suffragist, pacifist reaction to the Civil War and the Franco-Prussian War. And the appeal was tied to Howe's feminist conviction that women had a responsibility to shape their society. And so it is that we arise, mothers and others, lovers of life, of peace, of hope, and of possibility. We arise with the opportunity and the vision that we can indeed be mothers of hope and possibility and love. Do you agree? Whether you have been a biological mother, whether you have nurtured, whether you've been a mother in a moment, as Pam Fodor, who's our director of programs, talked about, we all have the capacity within us to nurture and to love. Often UU colleagues share our favorite stories or sermon ideas throughout the week. Sometimes we're stuck, sometimes in need of fresh ideas, sometimes brimming with ideas to share. My colleague, Reverend Misha Sanders, shared a story in one of her sermons that captured my imagination. And I am telling you, it was seriously not all planned. I mean, the service was planned, but until I watched all the through line and saw that this is indeed a story about a bird. Seriously, I just don't know what to tell you. It's about a cowbird. Does anyone know what a cowbird is? Yeah, I didn't know. So a cowbird is a bird that the mother doesn't build her own nest, right? So what she does is she just lays her egg in another nest. And there it is. So those are robin's eggs, and that other unusual looking egg is the cowbird egg, right? And she sits nearby, hoping that the robin or the other bird will sit on that egg and that egg will hatch. Sometimes that works out. Sometimes it doesn't. I think I'm not going to tell the tragic parts of that because we've had a little bit of tragedy story here today. However, often it works out. And this is what happens. You would think, just like in the story about the ducklings and the kittens, that maybe the cowbird would think, oh, I'm a robin, and start acting like a robin. But it doesn't, because the mother is nearby. The cowbird mother is nearby, calling reminding, imprinting, and letting that little baby cowbird know who they are. And so one of the things that the story tells me is that we need people in our lives to remind us who we are, whose we are, how we belong, and how we will be and develop. So the thing that's interesting about them is that we might vilify cowbird mama for being a brood parasite. But there she is, calling, you can do this, you're a cowbird. Because we know we all have varying parenting, nurturing capacities. And so, Misha tells another story. It's more or less a human cowbird story. Moses, she writes, was a cowbird in a robin's nest, for sure. There's the cowbird. Moses' mom, Misha writes, under great duress because of the newborn children of her people were victims of ongoing genocide, decided to take her chances at cowbird behavior. You know the story, right? Or parts of it, about the baby Moses being hidden in the Nile in a basket near the bathing area of the princess of Egypt. Moses' older sister Miriam was tasked with acting like the mother cowbird. Perhaps Moses' birth mom, Yocheved, was not physically able to up to the task. Perhaps she had other children to tend to. We don't know for sure. But what we do know is that she sent Miriam to watch after her baby cowbird brother from the trees. And just as it was anticipated, when the Pharaoh's daughter, the princess of Egypt, heard a tiny baby's cry, she did what Yocheved had hoped she would do, which was to take the child as her own. At which point, Miriam just conveniently emerged from the bulrushes and said, "Excuse me, ma'am, but if you could use a nanny for that baby, I'm available." And that's how Jacobed's kids got into the palace. That's how Miriam became a cowbird for mom for Moses, reminding him that he was raised as an Egyptian prince, and hey, that big awkward Robin, you're different because you're actually a cowbird, or a Jew in this case. In these stories of cowbirds and the story of Moses, we come across the myriad ways of loving and mothering a child into the fullness of who they are. Each and every one of us with the capacity to nurture. Yes, I celebrate mothers, despite the complexity of the holiday. I did not have a complex relationship with my own mama, Jane O'Connell Johnson. Having lost her in 1989, she is with me always, and I'm so blessed. And I think it's still important to recognize the various ways that we are mothered and that we are loved. Misha writes, some mothers, sisters, aunties, friends of all genders, y'all, like the cowbirds, will stay hidden behind some branches to yell out the empowering truth of who we really are, just as we are about to forget. Some mothers, like robins and Egyptian princesses, will take in a baby and raise it and love it as their own because a mother's love is too powerful to be restricted to an incidental thing like DNA bonds. Mothering is not restricted to gender or genetics. It's not restricted even to those closest to us. Beloveds, who has nurtured you? Your own mother? Testament with the family. I love rows of families that show up in celebration. Or just who show up. Who has nurtured you? Breathe that in. What are you nurtured by? Rebecca Solnit had this beautiful piece that I just ran across this morning that I can't share all of it with you. She talked about her own mother and then the ways that she realized how she'd been mothered by books and landscapes and oceans and communities. We make space for the complexity and challenge of this time because relationships are complex and unpredictable, like cowbirds and cats who mother ducks. Even as we speak, at the southern border, mothers, refugees, and asylum seekers are receiving care in the face of harsh treatment. Even here, right here in Chicagoland, right here, asylum seekers, including mothers with children, are seeking places to stay, to be nurtured. Where is there a need to offer support to mothers and to others? As we consider how we nurture, how we are mothered, in whatever way, by whatever gender, let us remember that the instinct to care is as prominent as the instinct to other. We simply have to strip the narratives and allow the love that we have been given in our own lives to manifest in ways that mother and nurture all. Happy Mother's Day to you all. I invite you to join me in our chalice extinguishing words. Although we extinguish this flame, we extinguish this flame, but, oh, let's see if I got the slides. I did the slides myself, y'all, just so you know. Here we go. Say them with me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of this community, nor the fire of our commitment. These things wear in your hearts and share with the world. And so, in a moment, the choir will sing for us. It's a spiritual, heading for the promised land. This will be our last song. So, beloveds, there is a promised land. One here. Not necessarily only the one by and by, but the one that calls us. The one that calls us into the fullness of who we can be. The one that calls us and says, who hurts? How can I hold out that promised land? How can we make it to the promised land? The land of justice, the land of love, the land of peace, the land of hope, and the land of possibility. Bring it, singers. Bring it, Jamie. and amen. Close our benediction are words adapted from Lilia Durland Jones. For those who gave us birth and who nurtured us, we offer gratitude and thanks. May their lives or their memories be a blessing. May we feel surrounded by their love. And as we go forth from this place, let us learn from their fears and courage, their not knowing, their wisdom, their realities, and their dreams. Let us honor them by doing the work of living boldly, loving mightily, and creating heaven here on earth. Ashe, amen, and blessed be.
I wish my mother had known you, and I wish you would